Hey everyone! In today's tutorial, we'll show you some quite advanced but very powerful and effective skin retouching techniques. The main technique we'll be using to smooth skin is called frequency separation. It's popular among portrait photographers for smoothing out skin while maintaining its natural texture. But before we get to it, let's start by removing the most visible skin imperfections. Throughout this tutorial, we'll use quite a few different layers, so let's duplicate the original image layer to be able to compare our edits at the end. To do that, press the Command-J keyboard shortcut. Now, name the duplicated layer Initial Retouching. Next, in the Tool sidebar, choose the Repair tool and paint over any blemishes you'd like to remove. Feel free to zoom in if you need to. Also, you can quickly adjust the size of the Repair tool brush using the square bracket keys. Now that we've taken care of the smaller imperfections, let's move on to smoothing the skin using the frequency separation technique. We'll use multiple layers to create two filters, a low-pass filter and a high-pass filter. The low-pass filter lets us edit low-frequency details, or in other words, larger textures and colors, and allows us to smooth them without affecting the finer, or high-frequency details. However, it also affects some of the medium frequencies, so we'll use a high-pass filter to bring them back. Let's start by creating the low-pass filter. First, duplicate the initial retouching layer by pressing the Command-J keyboard shortcut. Now, press the F key to choose the Effects tool. We need to desaturate this layer, so click Add Effect and apply the Color Controls effect. Now, set the saturation to 0%. Duplicate this layer one more time by pressing the Command-J keyboard shortcut. Make sure the Color Controls effect is still on. Both these layers need to be desaturated. Now we need a few more effects. Click Add Effect once more and apply the Invert effect. Finally, apply the Sharpen effect. For now, don't adjust the settings of the Sharpen effect. We'll come back to it a little later on. In the Layer sidebar, change the opacity of this layer to 50%. At this point, you should have an entirely grey image. We'll group the top two layers and change their blending mode. First, select both layers in the Layer sidebar, Control-click one, and choose Group. Next, rename the group Low Pass. And now, click the Blending Mode pop-up menu and choose Overlay. OK, let's come back to the settings of the Sharpen effect. Select the layer to which you added the Sharpen effect. To do that, expand the Low Pass group and select its top layer. In the Tool Options pane, drag the radius and intensity sliders to adjust the strength of the skin smoothing effect. The strength will vary based on the photo and the look you're going for, but we'll set the radius to around 25 pixels and the intensity to around 130%. Right now, the effect is being applied to the entire image, but we only want to apply it to certain parts of the face, so we'll mask it out. Control-click the Low Pass group and in the pop-up menu, click Add Mask while pressing and holding the Option key. When you Option-click Add Mask, this adds a black mask, which hides the layer entirely. Clicking Add Mask without pressing the Modify key would have added a regular white mask, so this just speeds up the process for us a little bit. Now we'll use a white brush to go over the areas of the skin where we want to make the smoothing effect visible. First, select the Paint tool by pressing the B key. Next, open the brush browser and select the soft basic brush. Click the color wheel and choose the color white. Once you've customized your brush, paint over the areas of the face to which you want to apply the effect. If you need to adjust the size of the brush, you can use the square bracket keys like before. Now the skin looks much smoother, but we've lost some details, which makes the effect a little unnatural. Let's fix that using a high-pass filter. In the Layers sidebar, duplicate the initial retouching layer by selecting it and pressing the Command-J keyboard shortcut. Rename this layer High Pass. This layer needs to be at the very top of the image to do its job, so drag it to the top of the layer list. Now press the F key to choose the Effects tool. Click Add Effect and apply the High Pass effect. This essentially does the opposite of what we created in the Low Pass group. In the future, we'll probably add a low-pass effect to Pixelmator Pro 2, but for now, we had to create one manually. If you're watching this tutorial in the future, it might be worth checking out whether the effects browser has a low-pass effect too. Anyway, back to the high-pass effect. Leave the radius and opacity at the default settings. Next, click the Blending Mode pop-up menu at the top of the layer sidebar and choose the Overlay Blending Mode. Just like before, we don't want these details to be visible in the entire image. We want to apply the effect only to the skin, so we'll use a mask. We already created a mask for the low-pass group, so we'll just copy it over to this layer. The easiest way to do that is by pressing and holding the Option key, then dragging the mask onto the high-pass layer. And that's it for the frequency separation. That's done a fantastic job of smoothing out the skin. There are a few more things we can improve in this photo. We can reduce the redness of the nose and fix up the shiny parts of the skin. Let's start by adjusting the red areas. In this photo, the only slightly red area is the nose, so we'll selectively edit the red tones using a color adjustments layer. To add a color adjustments layer, click the Add Layer button at the top of the layer sidebar and choose Color Adjustments. Next, let's choose the elliptical selection tool. It's in the first group of selection tools over here, so click to expand the group and click Elliptical Selection. Now draw an ellipse around the nose. Then, in the Tool Options pane, click Select and Mask. For the color adjustments to blend in smoothly and evenly with the surrounding areas, change the softness of the selection to around 70%. Finally, to automatically turn this selection into a mask, click the Output pop-up menu and choose Mask, then click Apply. Now, press the A key to choose the Color Adjustments tool and turn on the Selective Color Adjustment. We'll work on the reds, which should be selected by default. Let's slightly adjust the shade by dragging the hue slider to the right. Now, to decrease the redness itself, we'll set the saturation to -25 and the brightness to around 45. And the last thing we'll do is remove the shine from a few areas on the forehead. Start by adding an empty layer. To do that, click the plus button at the top of the layer sidebar. Next, press the B key to choose the paint tool. The soft basic brush is already selected, but its default opacity is 50%, so set it back to 100%. What we'll need to do now is basically paint in some color onto the shiny areas. The best place to pick a color to use is right next to each shiny area, because that should be the most natural skin tone for that particular area. To do that, press and hold the Option key to make the eyedropper appear and then click to pick a color. Release the Option key and paint over the area. Try to cover just the shiny parts and don't stray too far beyond them. There's another shiny spot on the bottom left of the forehead, so let's repeat the same steps for that too. Press and hold the Option key once more, pick a color from next to the shiny spot, then paint over it. Now, for these areas to blend in smoothly with the rest of the skin, we'll adjust the opacity and the blend mode of the layer. Set the opacity to 50% and the blend mode to darken. The darken blend mode can make the skin tones a little dull, so we'll repeat these steps again, but this time we'll use a different mode to bring back a little saturation to these areas. Create another empty new layer by clicking the plus button at the top of the layer sidebar. Now, Option click somewhere near the shiny spots on the forehead and paint over the same areas as before. Finally, click the Blending Mode pop-up menu and choose Color, then change the opacity of the layer to around 50%. And that's about it for this skin retouching technique. If you'd like to quickly compare the original photo with the final edit, you can Option click the visibility checkbox of the bottom layer to hide all other layers. To make all the other layers visible again, Option click the visibility checkbox of that layer one more time. As you can see, we've removed all the biggest imperfections, smoothed out the skin, and removed the redness and unwanted shine. This is quite an advanced technique, but it gives you a huge amount of control and creates an incredibly high-quality result. We hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and if you're looking for more, you'll be sure to find something on our channel. Don't forget that you can subscribe to be the first to know about any new videos as soon as they're published. And, as always, thanks for watching.